Hi, I'm Brendan Fehr.
And I'm Majandra Delfino. A decade or two ago,
Closer to 3, really.
a while back, we starred in the cult hit WB show Roswell.
And while we are in fact ex-co-stars, we are also actual exes. In real life.
Boyfriend and girlfriend exes.
Unnecessary clarification. But welcome to the X-Files, where we analyze all things Roswell. Episodes, co-stars, guest stars, and all the goings-on in front of the camera and behind the scenes.
In our probe, we may or may not agree, we may or may not get along, but if our history is any indication, we will most certainly dig up old stuff from the past and throw down. With guests, old and new, weighing in on who was right and who was wrong.
Oh, if we remember it, we're going to talk about it.
And if we don't remember, it's all good, because I kept my teenage diary to cross-reference, corroborate, confirm.
Wait, what?
Correct. So be prepared to pick a side.
Your actual diary, like, for real.
Having a change of heart?
More like a change of underwear.
Welcome
to the X-Files. Am I bright?
No. Am I right?
No, not really.
I know. Just blinding.
No, I just meant IQ-wise.
Oh, which, by the way, that's a perfect example of not being right.
Doesn't get it. We have done...
Who's we? Is this a royal we?
It's a royal we. Royal? Is that what they say?
The royal we, yeah.
Okay.
That means like a regal peepee. So dumb. She's just so dumb. She can't.
Like season 2, we did Skin and Bones with Tim. And we have done Summer of 47, which is, I believe it's right. Oh, no, we got Still Meet the Dupes. We did another one in there. Sorry, I'm looking at the guide here. We have not done Surprise. We haven't done Ask Not. But we've done a lot of the first couple episodes, like first half of season 2 almost.
Right.
And we're doing Wipeout today.
Or as I kept spelling it, Wipeout. Don't know. Wipeout.
Wipeout. Wait, where is we've done the Christmas. Oh yeah, the Christmas Carol, which we've done. We did that with O, and that's episode 10.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find interesting is, you kept saying, this show, this is kind of where it goes off the rails. And I was like, does it really? Are we just exaggerating that? Do we really believe that if we look back and watch it? And it was all started with the skins.
Again with the royal we. Do we think so?
And the harvest, and the skins and the harvest and everything else. And out of the first 10 of this, which we haven't watched them all, the best ones are the one-offs. The Roswell Christmas Carol, Summer 47. It's the ones like this, it was a slow with Skin and Bones.
Mm-hmm.
That was acceptable. We're just getting into it. So that works. But I did a little more research this time. I actually kind of watched the first 6.
Wow.
Fast, yeah, but fast, and because I wanted to know what was going on, because I did not remember. I remembered, but I didn't. And yeah, you're right. It's just fucking off the rails.
It's so. Listen, love it, but different show.
100% different show. It's very Buffy.
Exactly, and that was the whole thing. It was like the fear of God was put in us to change greatly. The writers and exec producers were essentially threatened, which is normal, but kind of a new concept then. And we were forced to Buffy it up, and boy, did we.
Yeah, they really lean hard. And then what's funny is we have the dupes, And then Max in the city, and then we have the Christmas Carol. And after the Christmas Carol, though, a Roswell Christmas Carol, I think they went, oh, shit, we leaned hard into that. And it actually starts to go, it feels like looking at the episodes, they go back. They're trying to then go back to what the show was during the second half of the season.
Yeah. They're trying to dial it back.
Yeah.
Roll it back.
Because this Wipeout is a real...
Wipeout?
I mean... So you obviously watched it.
You know, I didn't get to. Can you imagine? Of course. Yes, I watched it, and it actually went by quite quickly. But man, the last week on Roswell recap, like the shows before, was chock full.
It really was. Yeah, that's why I had to go back and went, wait, what? Yeah, what happened?
Yeah.
The first thing that stood out to me was you're driving into Roswell when all the cars are in the street, and you just peeling out, going 100 miles an hour, but panicking, and when you hit the carriage, it's like, how did you? Clearly, it's a note where it's like you need to be out of control and drive fast, but it was just like.
Yeah, I have a few notes before that, but yeah.
Unhinged.
I wrote for that part, not Maria hitting a stroller. I mean, it is wild. It's almost like she did it on purpose. Like
100%. It looks like you're steering right for it. It looks like, you're on like an indie track from an inside camera shot on, Fox during a NASCAR race. It was just like, what are you doing? Just relax. Why are we going so fast?
Yeah.
It's just in a neighborhood.
When people panic and they like hold down the pedal instead of the brake.
I guess.
That's what Maria did, apparently. My first note, though, was Isabel and Max. And like, I am starting to listen back to the podcast, and I realize that I'm so one note. I'm like a teenage boy. But it needs to be said. First note, Isabel and Max, sexual energy.
I think they're dating at this point, right? I think they're dating at this point, right? In real life.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you can almost kind of tell the way they look at each other. It's a little...
Yes.
Talking by the fridge, and you're just like...
to her, and then she like steps around him. He's like, why are you avoiding me? And it's like, I hope hope brothers and sisters don't get that close. But what do I know?
So let's go... May I read?
I wish you would.
Season 2, Episode 7, Wipeout. Original air date, November 13th, 2000. Written by Gretchen Berg, Aaron Harberts. Directed by Michael Lang. Guest cast, Sara Downing, Miko Hughes, Jenny O'Hara, Mary Ellen Trainor, David Batiste. Using a special device, the skins cause all the humans of Roswell to vanish in a time warp as the aliens hunt down the Royal Four. Wipeout is a compelling concept with some interesting moments, but like its preceding episode, leaves the audience with a lot of questions.
An italicized lot.
Yes. I think that's all. Like The Harvest, Wipeout is plot-driven, yet it sets up some nice issues for the characters to deal with in the following episodes. Isabel and Michael's secrets are revealed by Nicholas in front of Max, causing future rifts in the trust of the three. But I think all of that is lost in... And again, we're 25 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And so
remind us.
VFX, and CGI is a little bit different. And maybe that's part of the reason this seems a little more off the rails than it actually is. I don't know, but man, it just felt, I don't know. I didn't like it. I think.
Yeah. Wasn't for you.
Wasn't for me. It's just too much. It's just too heavy-handed.
Yeah.
I loved Bill and I had notes earlier than that too. Bill and Kyle fishing. Like,
it killed me.
they just need their own show. They're so good together. Well, Bill and Nick.
And Kyle.
What's Valenti's first name?
Jim. I had the same thing where I wrote, I wrote, where the hell is Kyle and Sheriff fishing? And then I wrote Jim later.
That's right, Jim.
But it just, like, I needed to understand sort of topographically what was going on there. But of course, Kyle puts the fish back, which is literally the opposite of the circle of life. The circle of life is to eat the fish.
Right.
Right? Like, there has to be, like, the death and the rebirth.
You're right. Yeah, he's new
I'm
in
just
Buddhism.
literally only thinking of The Lion King. I'm like, what?
100%.
That's my concept. Which, by the way, one of your favorite songs.
When I saw Elton John, I always thought it was kind of a lame song. And then when he played it live, it was, I went, it really changed my whole attitude about that song. It is fucking great.
What I would give to see you just taken by the spirit of that song and just...
Yeah,
like,
I think it's
hands
almost
up, sway,
listen, what
with enough
I have
tequila.
with enough tequila.
Elton will do that. Elton will do that. But yeah, then the next note on mine is not Maria hitting a stroller. I couldn't believe. It's almost like she revved up for it.
I know. And I mean, I guess, did it really add? Like, when you write it, you think it's going to add to the drama of it, but I didn't think this was the best shot episode. It was a little unimaginative and sloppy because you have this whole town. You have the two towns, right? You have Roswell, which is empty, which is so fucking creepy. You know, if you do it, obviously it's a newer show, but like The Walking Dead, that's the
thing.
There's a real creepiness. There's a real just like, let's sit in that.
Right. But I just think that that's the evolution of things that start to creep us out, and then the things we sort of become numb to. And at that time, it was effective. And then now we've seen so much since that.
I still think that could be effective. I just didn't, I don't know. I didn't. And then, Copper Summit, this creepy little town. I don't know. I just thought it could have been, there was something else to do with it that was kind of lost in the setup of the shots, I feel.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I think hurting a baby is always effective, even though obviously a baby wasn't actually hurt, but for a while, for a second when you think that is the case, effective. But just at this point, I think 25 years later, we've graduated.
Yeah.
I also wrote, after seeing Maria hitting the stroller and her and Liz embracing each other, I wrote 0 calves. I just had 0 calves.
Do you have calves now?
Excuse me? Imagine if I said 0 boobs. Do you have boobs now?
Do you have boobs now?
You still don't have boobs though. I have somewhat better calves. You know what? I guess I don't.
I guess I don't.
I'm going to rethink that.
I answered my own question by asking the question.
Yep.
I did have some notes earlier. I just got mixed up on my stuff. I said season 2 hair is a real high wire act. It's either really solid or it looks like a bowl cut, like Dumb and Dumber almost. When it's a little too short in the back and the proportions aren't quite right with the sideburns and the down and then this, it's a little dicey.
You were hot off the Forsaken look.
But then I think it was in the cutting of it. When you cut the back too short, it looked dicey.
Yeah.
And I forgot that Katie, I always thought I was the only murderer. Katie kills someone. Earlier in the episode. Not in this episode, but earlier in the skin. She kills the Congresswoman, Whitaker.
Oh boy. Spoiler.
So, spoiler alert for everyone
Going back,
there. Yeah. And this alien sign.
Oh boy.
They had to have done it on purpose, right? They know. The guy looks like he's just shoots green jizz all over Roswell and everyone disappears. Because it's like
yeah. It is supposed to be a dick, right?
Well, they put it in the belly button because I don't think it's not right where it should be, but
it's quite an outie.
I
wrote confirmation aliens do have big dicks. I thought it was given that it was a dick. Okay, well.
Well, they put it a little higher than that. Maybe that's where they come from. I don't know. But anyways,
the opposite
I don't know
of Kyle XY.
I think it's kind of funny. Yeah. But at the same time, it wasn't right. I don't know. I was just like, oh, just stick it in his eye or something, like a laser eye.
I thought it had something to do with a previous episode. Don't ask me why.
I won't.
Sad
Anyways,
that you don't. I also wrote Hanson Frappuccino fun. Yeah, for some reason, Sheriff Valenti says that you better not be having a Frappuccino or something like that, and I thought, is he known for Frappuccinos? What a celebratory guy. and then I thought about what you said about what he looked like in season 1.
Oh, yeah. And then he comes. Well, there you go. Your cell phone is just the antenna of it all. It's just so great when you're in the crash down. It's brilliant.
Real tech going on.
I mean, there was better phones back then, even.
Yeah, but I think we were supposed to all be kind of, very small town, not the brand new Nokia.
Right. And then Miko Hughes, who's so good in it.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Comes in and he's drinking people's smoothies and eating their pancakes. And I was just like, you need to be worried about cold sores and not your skin issues, because this is horrifically
it was a different time. It was
uncomfortable.
Time. Yeah, I know. But it's so a little kid move.
Yeah, but he's not a little kid. He's stuck in a little kid's body.
I guess. Yeah.
That's what they,
No, I know he is.
And then he calls her mom, and she calls him sir. I was just like, this is a weird dynamic. This whole
your mom. Your mom didn't call you sir? Sir Louis over here, I'll tell you. I wrote, Michael will take any chance to molest. And I think that actually was towards the scene where you like touch her hand. Yeah.
Feeling the husk.
Yeah. That's what you like to call it. Want to grab a bite, see a movie and feel the husk later?
I did like that relationship because he goes from obviously not trusting her early on, and then I like that turn of how she ended up obviously being on the team and taking one for the team, and obviously being a Michael worshiper, did inflate his ego probably a little bit.
He loved it.
Yeah, he definitely.
But let me just say, it was like she was more important than his own girlfriend, who's given up her life for him.
Well, I think the other thing is
tough to see. Because
she's an alien, it's like someone, he's still on that quest of going home, and it's like it's his own
racist.
Its own person. Yeah, what would you call that?
What would you call that? Yeah, exactly. Humanist.
Yeah, I don't know.
Earthist. Yeah, earthist.
So yeah, that's that relationship was. But I don't know. I don't think he was attracted to her though. Like, I don't get that. I know there's some intimate scenes, but I think he really was trying to, I got the feeling, like act like a king, like a benevolent.
Oh, boy, a belly button king. Malevolent. The malevolent.
I think he was trying to rise to the occasion and like take care of his people in that sense. And that was the only person, because obviously him and Max have a conflict of, when he says like, what are we going to do? Nothing, of course, blah, blah, blah. And then he's getting a sense of what life on the other planet is, that maybe Max, screwed it up and there's some division among the people. And so I just thought he was trying to act responsibly as a possibility that, he takes over.
Convenient. Very convenient theory. When Maria runs over to you, to Michael, and like there's like a hug, the like bear hug, very sweet. But then I wrote, you were so much bigger than me. Oh, that's right. I was still growing. November 2000, the year 2000. So that means I was 19.
And we've learned now. Okay, Isabel is only 1 year older than Max.
I keep getting mixed messages.
She's only 1 year older. No, it's confirmed. She's 1 year older. So she did get married at fucking 18, 19.
Yeah. Child bride.
I mean.
Which, by the way, this is a perfect segue to the journal.
Ooh.
Oh. It asked me if I wanted to leave the site. Wouldn't it be great if I just leave? And I'm mad at you because of what I read. No. Oh my goodness. I'm having some tech. Okay. This is what it says. Okay. It's really intense. Okay.
Okay.
Now there's the part before that's, I'm not going to say.
Okay.
Then it says, I love him. I'm sorry. I love him and he loves me. And then he doesn't. Says he wants to marry me, then says he doesn't. Do I want to marry him? Sorry. Hold on. Pause for dork tingles. If it means being... Oh my gosh, Brendan, I hope you're sitting. If it means being with him and taking care of him every day, like you're 5, that's not in the journal, then yes. But he seems to always be thinking about other options, almost like casting a wife, and I'm not what he had in mind. I died.
So we were getting along, I guess.
It's so erratic. Like I wasn't... If I had just known and committed to like more updates, like a daily something, but it's just so like only when the moment strikes.
Yeah, only when it's really bad or really good. When it was just kind of... Yeah. I think when it changes from one to the other, maybe.
Yes, something. I think like when a need to vent. But there is, I will say, a lot of like glowing reviews.
Wonderful.
So I guess that was
Child Bride,
necessary to write down. Yes,
and this is not a segue, but I laughed out loud when I think Shiri says, like, look at her thighs, they look like 2 canned hams. Courtney goes, I heard that, you bitch, even though they're carrying her into the tub.
Oh,
what a thing! What a line to write in there.
What a different time. God.
And I will say, when we discussed in the Q&A who was more like their character and who was less, you are a pill popper.
Child bride? Oh, well, I was so excited by that. I wrote, finally, I have something in common with Maria. It's not pills, Brendan. It's supplements. They're
vitamins and supplements.
They're vitamins and supplements.
Yeah, I was like, oh, there she is. So
I was like, finally, because when she smells the oils, we need something stronger.
100%. And I love
how it turns out she upgraded.
You throw a little shade at me, like I am dating Michael Guerin, like you're gonna catch something from me.
Well, no, she needs to like stabilize her moods.
Oh, I thought it was more like I need to keep my immunity up. Because he's so dirty, because it's like wash your
Brendan?
sheets.
No.
I think so. I think you're wrong.
No way. It was definitely like, I have to like, because the things also that she listed were like.
You thought Michael Guerin lost his virginity in an alleyway, though.
That's totally normal.
And can't Max heal her?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like no one asked, no one that wasn't brought up. Like, do that. I don't know. No,
yeah, it's so funny because I don't remember. I remember shooting this. I don't know why the diary entry is this during this time, but it is also like tough to know when we're shooting prior to when it airs. We always give ourselves a 2-month padding, right?
In the beginning, especially because we would have like premiered October. Well, we can see when season 2 premiered. We've already done that with Tim, but let me just look back.
Yeah,
quickly.
What was that again? It was
Skin and
September?
Bones was. Well, pages are stuck together. I'm not sure why.
Did you get it used?
October 2nd, 2000. So, yeah, we're definitely in August shooting this.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, this was a journal entry from September.
Yeah. We're August, September. That's about right, because this one's November. Because this one is episode 7.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we would have started in August, maybe late June for Skin and Bones.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they're 8 episodes in, so we're 56 days in, plus weekends. So we're 2 months in. So, yeah,
okay.
that makes sense.
I mean, listen, I trust whatever the heck, was being thought at the time. It's just like not ringing bells. Which is
I think we are getting along. I think you did early on. I think you did have a sense that I was into Sarah or could have been into her.
Oh, were you into Sarah?
No.
Oh. I was like not picking up on it here, because I would have definitely written that. You know what I mean? I would have written about her
when you were like, he's going to end up with. I think you've said it before, though, that you thought, like, because she was in The Forsaken and then she comes, and so we kind of knew her. And then I think just the, pitting her as being a foil in our relationship and like flirting. And then
I don't think it was just her. I think it was, in general, there was always like an Allison Lang type, around.
Yeah, I'm just saying, so it kind of checks. But then I think it was, it was obviously proven it wasn't, and then we got along. I think if you read an earlier entry, like episode, episode 2 or 3, I bet you might, I don't know, you might say something about that. Anyways, I just remember like being not accused, but that being something where I was just like, oh, I can't make any mistakes.
God knows. I mean, I think there were so many of these things. Do you know what I mean? That it all starts to feel like a red flag.
But anyways, I think we're
your own sister.
Yeah, I think we're good here.
Okay.
And you girls are vicious. You do the opposite of waterboarding her. And you just start taking the water out of the tub.
Well, but first, when she falls, Maria's smiling. And then it's the craziest thing. And then she's like holding her and, nurturing. But I swear there was like a smirk on my face. I was like, oh, good Lord. But then I did write here, Tess, athletic queen. What was that athletic outfit shoot? She was like going to the gym.
Yeah, she's very sporty spice.
Very sporty spice.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird choice because she doesn't start off like that.
Yeah.
It was like strange. An episode. It was like a season 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these Terminator glasses.
Well,
that all these
everybody
kids
had it.
And people are wearing.
Yeah, it was the look.
I don't think it was.
100% was.
I remember even back then going, what are we doing? Because it is such a ripoff of Terminator, but not even done, where I'm just like, this makes it jokey. Like this makes us put glasses on them, do something to kind of change that. But it felt like we were, it didn't feel like it was funny enough to be like a wink, wink, nod, nod, like we were being self-deprecating. It felt like they really thought this was a good, solid, like editorial choice of like, let's put him in these. That's cool. And it's like, no, it's not. It wasn't.
I just have seen so many pictures of myself back then, OS off screen. And I myself am wearing many glasses like that. I did right here. Maria is going to be fine if the humans don't come back. So there's just like no panic. She's very chill. And then I wrote the ginkgo biloba's working.
Yeah. Doesn't ask about her mom.
Yeah.
No one, yeah. There's a lot of...
The majority of the episode, she's like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to have to pivot. It's just ready to fend for herself.
And, when we're in the museum...
Wait, hold on. Right before that, I wrote, oh, cool. So you can kill skins like you kill a human. It's like, take the bluntest, hardest object you can and bash me in my lower back. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it. But yeah, the UFO museum, I wrote, sweet.
I unlocked a door with powers. Again, didn't really know I had that ability. Don't melt it or bash it in. Just kind of do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then Liz is looking at this computer, analyzing some sort of seismic or activity. This isn't Los Alamos. This isn't Sandia Labs.
Oh boy.
This is a museum.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have this. This equipment doesn't exist in a museum. A museum just shows old relics, and they have the technology in here, and Liz has the smarts to open up this computer and track down, like, this is some serious equipment.
Yeah.
I just felt like, oh, that's, it was awfully
That's a bit of a leap. Yeah. When Maria falls in the UFO museum.
Yeah.
Cute undies.
I know. I saw that. You got panty shot.
Yeah. I think that it's like I fell and then they were like, it's so strange. You're lying on the ground, yet we still can't see your underwear. So they were like, hurry, put some undies on. Hold on 1 second. I swear to God, Louie. Alexa, stop. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry, let me just send this to Big Louie. So what was I going to say?
Oh, speaking of vitamins, I have those. The
minerals.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was I going to say?
When you let Kyle drive your Jetta, like when you guys go to do the sign, to take the penis out of the alien that shot a green load all over Roswell. Yeah, Kyle's driving your car.
Yeah, I said Maria and Kyle need a caper spinoff. I just loved the two of them.
But don't let him drive your car. It's your car. He can sit in the back seat of the passenger seat. I was just like, little sexism there. Like,
and unfortunately, that is when Maria starts to care and then starts to cry. It's like, this is not the time to start wondering about your grandmother and, whatever, and then starting to cry. It's like, we needed her to step up, but then she does.
But you did step up, and
really
I have
sort
that,
of focuses in.
Yeah, I love that they
Maria,
left her
a thriver
alone.
In chaos. Maria, a thriver in chaos, never calmer. Yeah, they left her alone. Yeah, she had to be the one to go deal with the giant alien dick, and no better person.
No better person. I love that they gave you that. I love that the writers gave your character that of like you stepping up. And then there's another one-liner there, but Courtney or someone says something about she had scrambled eggs for breakfast.
Migo does, yeah.
I guess I made her scrambled eggs. Did I make her scrambled eggs? Who made her scrambled eggs? Because she was in the bathtub.
Sounds like you would. I wrote Michael risking it all for Courtney, a stranger. And then when Maria gets like blown back by the skin, he just comes over, doesn't even help her up. It's just like, what a guy. What a guy.
What a guy. Oh, and then there is a shot.
Wait, hold on. When I said Michael risking it all for Courtney, a stranger, I also wrote, hope he understands Max now. Because, you hated how much Michael hated how much Max risked for Liz.
Well, because he exposed us. Here, I'm not exposing us. I'm trying to...
The skins are
There's
enemies.
No humans to expose us to. They're all gone.
No, but the skins themselves are an enemy. That's why Max wants Courtney. To make sure.
Because even the skins are divided.
Right, but unclear. We don't know if she's lying.
Well, we didn't know if the Sata was lying either. The whole thing is...
Right.
There is a shot. There is a shot of a person.
You see that part, right? Like when Max says to Michael, like, you're not Like, you can't trust her. You're not sleeping with her or anything. It's not because he cares whether you're faithful to Maria. I mean, I'm sure he does. Very nice guy. But it's that they could be enemies.
Yes. But I'm just, I guess I went with my instinct and I trusted her.
I wrote here, Maria, a classic Latina martyr.
What does that? Oh, what does that mean?
I guess, she's just going to risk it all. It scared me with those jumper cables.
Oh, yeah. And then I will say, Miko, when he's got us tied up, does have a line of "Love the hair, hope you win."
Oh, what a dig from the writers.
Right? And I went, I didn't imagine this passive-aggressive feud, where they always are taking shots at it. But I don't think it was, I mean, I love Aaron and Gretchen. And so, and we got along. But it just felt like it was not as...
Well, that was, the writer's room. It's not necessarily them.
Exactly. And I thought it was a little bit of a passive-aggressive shot where I was just like, interesting. It was maybe more of I think it was, clearly it was a real issue because we can be self-deprecating. And I mean, we make fun of ourselves all the time. And I make fun of my own self about my hair. And we always laugh about it. But that just felt like it had a little something there that was different. Kind of like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Especially after, we got, Summer of 47 is over where everything went down about the hair. Summer of 47 has already been, because there was a 4th episode, which they also wrote.
Right.
Gretchen and Aaron. But seeing how all that went down, And anyways, the effects are awful, but I do love Tess's like Mama Bear, like when she just loses it and loses control of her powers. I liked the idea.
The fire starter. Yeah.
Yeah, fire starter.
I wrote, wouldn't it be great if Tess burned Max by accident too? Because he was like standing in front of her. It just like physically, it would have burned him as well. And she's
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Singed his hair.
Yeah. Just he turns around and his entire back is just singed. And then my last note was, oh, look, Max is walking Tess to Zumba. To Zumba class. Because they're on that little walk and she's just still in that workout gear.
Yeah, straight from yoga class.
Yeah.
The great moment with Colin with Alex at the end. I thought that was fun with the sheriff.
Yeah.
With Jim. And then
don't get the pancakes. So cute.
And then at the end when it's going through everyone's kind of slow motion, you and Maria and Liz are kind of hugging at the end by the sign.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick was there, Kyle, and you just see he does this little like jazz hands where he goes like, I'm here too.
What about me?
Yeah, he does this, and I just thought it was the cutest. It was very Nick and very Kyle at the same time, but I got a kick out of that. I thought it was great.
I like those three together.
Yeah. Okay, well, we got the appropriate guest for this episode. We'll have to see what she has to say about things. I'll be curious to see what her, not only what she thinks about the episode, but of, any thoughts on not your journaling, perhaps. We'll have to read her that, but...
How embarrassing.
but what her take on was of me and you. Maybe she has some memories or some thoughts on how volatile or how nice it was, or I don't know. It'll be curious.
Or a 19-year-old that says, if it means being with him and taking care of him every day. A 19-year-old woman or girl just regressing to the 1950s.
Right.
Good Lord.
Oh, man.
All right.
All right.
This
well,
is exciting.
Anyways, it is the wonderful Sara Downing. How are you?
Good. Just, chilling in Chicago.
Well, we're so happy that you said yes to doing this.
Yes,
taking a little
so
trip down memory lane of...
So did you watch the episode, Sarah?
I did. Yep.
And how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
So interesting. Because first of all, I had no idea what was going on. I was like, why is everyone...
This entire podcast, by the way.
This is literally every episode on
every
this.
Episode, we're like,
that happened?
You're like, I don't remember that. I mean, we ask questions like, is Liz's mom dead or is she missing? And then, the fans get so mad. They're like, she's on episode this and that. And we're like, okay, we'll get to it. Sorry.
By the way, that was a question I had on this one. Is the mom dead?
No, the mom's not dead.
I was like, where's everyone going?
Not dead. Okay.
Like, is everyone gone?
Well, that's interesting.
Like,
yeah. I know.
And now I remember.
That's a good question.
So let's start.
I still don't.
Let's start with this. Your very first episode is Skin and Bones, the very first episode of season 2. What did they tell you? What did you know when you got the role? Did you know you were going to do 6? Did you know how much did you know at that point?
No,
yeah.
I didn't. So all I remember is that I was going to do a couple episodes, maybe more. And I started at the beginning of the second season. And so it felt like I was like a regular on that season. Like even for the crew and everything, like it just kind of, I was like, okay, so I'm on this season now.
Yeah, we just did that episode with Tim Busfield and like you show up and our question, I was just like, oh, I didn't even know Sarah was in this one. Like I didn't know Courtney was a thing. I was like, when does she show up? And Majandra was like, this is her first episode. And I was like, no.
We were shocked with how stealthily they introduced your character. It was very well done. Where you just kind of say hello. Yeah, where it's like, exactly. So it's like, don't look over here, but.
Yeah, and then you do say something to Michael's character at the very end, which kind of just mainly suggests that you're going to be maybe like a romantic foil for Maria and Michael. And it kind of negates the fact, it kind of hides even in that more that you're going to, your skin, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean.
So that was the first episode where we was like, oh shit. Yeah, no, she's in it. So anyway, sorry to,
we had to go
interrupt.
Back. It really blew our mind.
I think I knew that I was going to be an alien of sorts, but I think it kind of unfolded a little bit more. I think I stayed a little bit longer, but then I had another show that like with WB that, they ended up cutting me out. So I think I could have potentially stayed longer. I think we had conversations about it. And
what was the show? What was the other
Dead
show?
Last. I remember this show.
So
yeah. Oh, so what are you talking about, Brendan?
Do you remember that?
Yeah. It was very exciting though, I have to say, Sarah. That was like so cool.
I mean, I was super
to be on a show like that. Yeah.
And wait, what was that show about?
So we were in a band and we ended up finding this amulet to where we could see ghosts, and we had to let that. There have been numerous shows since that have had that exact same storyline. Including ghosts. Tyler Labine was Brendan. On another one. He was in that show, but he was on another one that was almost exact.
I knew Tyler back from the Vancouver days when I was in Vancouver. He was one of the guys that we were are very I always get this wrong, Mo. Nightman. Remember the bad show where I get abducted? Nightman. In Vancouver. We've already talked about it in one of the episodes.
I love that I've already like taken it out of my mind.
You've already Tyler was in that. Me and Tyler get abducted. And AJ Buckley, hilariously enough. It's the three of us.
It's so Canadian.
Yeah. Okay, so you knew you were going to go on
Dead Last
a little bit longer.
But wait, Sarah, what was it a holding deal? What was the process of you getting onto the show?
You're on Roswell?
I know that Emily was
No, I did not have an Emily deal.
I love that it's known as the Emily.
We all want an Emily deal.
We're still waiting for our Emily deal. Yeah. Okay. So it was a like straight up audition,
and I feel like I knew you guys like also. So I feel like there was because of oh my gosh,
Forsaken.
Well, Forsaken, yes, but also oh my gosh, I'm Allison Lang.
Yes.
So I was friends with her, and like I kind of knew you guys through that, and like we just sort of socially started connecting, and then I got the show from that, which I found super odd that all of a sudden I was just like, oh yeah.
Oh, yes. That's so funny. So for those, obviously everyone knows Allison Lang. She was on the show. She played
Dupree,
Laurie Dupree. Which is a good, and she had a good run there. But Allison was also my roommate.
So, Sarah, one of the things that we do on this podcast is we read from my journal at the time.
Oh.
And Allison was his roommate, and she is gorgeous. A rack like no rack you've ever seen. And
well, that's not true. I have seen it. Only because
Carry on.
It's things like this. It's
because I had a peephole in the bathroom.
Yeah.
No. Because this is awful. Because me and Allison did a movie. This is how
Christina's
I moved
house.
in with her in L.A. Me and Allison did Christina's House in Vancouver. It was this bad horror movie, and I remember there was a big controversy on set where she was supposed to be taking a bath. And I guess they hadn't worked it out whether she was going to be naked or nude or whatever else. And she didn't obviously want to be nude, but I don't remember the details, but I remember her crying about it, like coming into my trailer and going like, they're bullying me. They're going to make me go nude. And the producers were basically like, that's what you signed up for. We don't know. So I didn't know the real story.
Oh my God. Well,
and so I was like,
kids.
now
I'm glad she did.
Well, yeah. Well, but now I would have been like, no, you're not doing this. And like, fuck that. You're not taking off your top until this is totally all fucking settled. We'll just put production on hold. But back then
I pressured her.
I
said, be a professional.
But back then, I just kind of like threw up my hands and I was like, I hope you get it figured out. But I don't, like you just kind of go like, I don't know the whole story or whatever else. And
it was different.
Really didn't. It was different, and I was still kind of new, and I didn't have that experience or whatever else. And so she ended up. I believe this is why. I believe she ends up going topless in it, and that's where long story short, that's where I've seen her boobs.
Well, and that's how I also knew, because the word on the street was that she had such beautiful boobs. So
is that the word? Was that the word on the street?
Well, no, I mean, obviously not the street, but meaning like friends in common, like people that we worked with that in a professional capacity got to see,
Sorry, Allison.
The rack. I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but she shouldn't. It might be embarrassing, but like, wouldn't you? If someone was like, he's just got the most gorgeous thing down there, I'd be like, yeah, thanks. Spread the news. You know what I mean? Like, tell everybody
what that meant. What thing?
No one's talking about that. Put
that's
that away.
Why we created this podcast, because we're hoping that that's brought up in my journal. Not once, Sarah. No. But she is such a gorgeous girl, and very much in the vein of what Brendan would just casually drop that was his like type. And then you come onto the show, Sarah, beautiful, blonde, I'm sure just a beautiful rack. And
they're there. They work.
Exactly.
Not to toot my own horn, but, and then just like rips it up.
But that is the word on the street.
2 kids later.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it was, a very fraught time for me, period. I found everyone to be a threat.
Yeah.
And there were actual like real threats that were substantially older than Brendan. So that was like, really, really hard. Which is so funny because it shouldn't have been. But we were just discussing, we're wondering like, what was Sarah's take? When you came on the set, what was our vibe like? Could you sense, was the drama in the air? Could you smell it?
It was there.
Good. Yes. Finally.
It was there. I specifically remember I really liked you, Majandra, and I felt like you really like were trying to like me, but you also like had some stuff going on. Like you were like,
yes. There was
like
so
you came
much
on
stuff.
set when Brendan and I had to do like that. I don't know if we had a kiss or we had some like sexy kind of vibe scene. I think I
Clean
took my
Girl's
shirt.
a sexy girl.
I think I took the top off.
No.
Had a bra on.
Yeah, you do.
Did
Yes,
you?
no, she did with
Yeah.
her bra. Yeah, she turns her back and she goes in. It's the Zoe
Yes,
episode where she goes a clean
and
girl.
you wanted
where I
to be
say
on
a clean
set.
girl's a sexy
You're
girl.
like, I have to be on set.
Well, me and Appleby came onto set with
I
the two of
remember.
us, and we
I was
spied
like, this is
on
so
you guys.
awkward.
Yes. No,
And like, what am I going to do on set too? Like, if I'm ever going to
Well,
pull a
you
move,
would
it's not going to be
do-
while the cameras are rolling.
Oh, the opposite. That's where you slide,
That's where it's okay.
tongue in or whatever. Yeah, you would kiss people during ADR.
I wanted it to sound real.
Exactly.
And I'm like, they're not recording yet. Yeah, it was.
It's just a sound engineer. I'm just like, get over here. Let's. Yeah, no.
It was such a fraught time, but the problem is in the journal, like there's some people that are brought up that are like really scary to me. Where I'm like, this is a problem. Like, I've lost him to so and so, and there's no mention. I don't think because you were so sweet, Sarah. Like you're not coming. There was some very passionate women that kind of made it known that they would also reciprocate like any kind of interest or kind of instigate it a lot of times, not to let them off the hook too much. But you were so lovely that it was like, there was no like, Sarah's a problem,
Yeah,
but
and
we're
I
convinced
did.
that you were. Well, then I thought you were.
We have discussed this where because I knew what my intentions were all the time. Like I knew I would never cheat. I knew I wasn't going to go forward. But because of that, I gave myself too long a leash where like I would get flirty knowing that nothing was ever going to happen. Majandra wasn't crazy in terms of feeling the way she was feeling, but I thought she was, because I'd be like, it's never going to happen. Like I know who I am and I know what I'm going to do, and I've never done anything and never did. So that gives me permission to be flirty. And it's like, growing up now, it's just like, no, it doesn't, dude. Like you can't behave like that and make other people think that you like them or, kind of. So
then
a
what
lot of it
happens
was
with
my
that?
fault.
Well, but then the casualties are you, Sarah, come on set. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Like I didn't do anything.
You're not
I just
doing
want
a
to be
thing.
friends.
Yeah, exactly. You're not doing a thing. He's not doing a thing that, you're like, and it's just like me and Shiri hiding behind a bush watching you.
And it's so weird because I really genuinely just wanted to be friends. Like I had so much fun and it was like such a vibe. And I just really wanted to be like good with everybody. But of course, my character, it's like baked in that my character on the flip side with Maria was like trying to like slide in on your man overtly. Like I was doing it.
But this happened to Emily
like
as
in the episode, in one of the episodes before this, I think it might be Harvest before this, where I think I'm making a salad.
Oh yeah, and the cake
it's a lot of salad
and
work again in this, Majandra, and then
I know,
and
I
then you come in.
Salads were a thing then.
Yeah, we, one of our nicknames is the salad
stays...
tossers. Don't ask.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of salad work, and I'm making the salad with you, and you're overtly. Oh no, sorry, it's the cake. It's the cake.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say that's not very like sexy.
There was
like
a candle in it.
Some balsamic vinaigrette. Yeah,
tastes like Tabasco.
Yeah, it was the frosting, and you're like that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you definitely over.
I was like,
coming on. So
gross. Okay.
So to put yourself in that, So
and it was so out of whack, like that we just never knew what was going to be an issue, what wasn't, which is so hilarious. What a way to spend your time as a 19-year-old, like having this wonderful experience, this once in a lifetime experience, and being like, I'm afraid my boyfriend's going to leave me for Angelina Jolie. Like, oh, good Lord.
But also then to come on the show and have like this great character and this great arc, and then just be like, Spygate, to be spied on by other co-stars.
By the way, just so you know,
and like having your every move, I know.
It wasn't that bad. That was just like the like undercurrent. It was living under the surface, but it was still lovely, and obviously I like got along with everybody, and like Majandra, we still got along really well. And I think by the end you were like, oh yeah, it was fun. she's a weirdo. She's not going to.
That's what I mean. Yeah. When did that ever subside? Like, was it after you left the show and like we were in circles? Because I felt like maybe for the first like 2 or 3 or 4, and then it was just like, oh, this is not
maybe
like, and then the weirdness.
I know
kind
for
of
sure it was just so sad when I left. I was really sad to leave. Like, and it was like, that was really hard. And I even to this day, I'm like, if I wouldn't have done that show, would I have stayed on longer? Would it have even made sense if I stayed on longer? I don't know. Maybe not. When they kill you, that's when you go, fuck, there's no chance of coming back. But on this show, you never know.
Not true. That's so not true.
Went to another dimension.
You could be.
I just killed the husk.
You could be someone else wearing. Yeah, you could be wearing like a duplicate of it. Listen,
but it wouldn't be me. It would be a different actor.
Come back. No, it would be you because you're wearing the husk.
Yeah, I'd find this.
Yeah, she was saying the exterior look is the same.
Oh, speaking of the husk, my husband walked in when I was watching the show, and he was like, "So what's going on?" I was like, "Oh, they're just they're just growing more, skins, husks, whatever." And he was like, "With clothes on?" And I was like, "Yeah."
It's a WB.
They also grow the
puritanical.
Yeah.
With clothes.
They're a puritanical alien.
There's a lot of things looking back on this. And it was funny, this particular, I would say, like little series, the skins, which ends, I think Wipeout is kind of the end of it. Because then we move on to the dupes after this, the other 4 aliens. It was a very interesting time. You start off the second season that way. We've talked about it. And it went from this kind of teen soap drama of sorts to straight Buffy, right? To like really chaotic, and the whole thing changed. And the other vibe is, and you don't like to do it, but like this was not the show we really thought we had signed up for. Right. And so then we're also walking around going like, what the fuck is a storyline? Like, what are we doing? And that feels like, if I'm in your position, I'm going, well, it's my storyline. Like it's the reason I'm on the show. Like, and so no one's like, you're so good, Miko's so good. Like no one's insulting the actors there, but we just look back at the storyline and go, what is going on? Yeah.
Well, that's funny because I like wrote some things down when I was watching it. And one of them was that as I watched the whole thing, in my memory, that was like 4 episodes. Like I remember filming those and I didn't realize that those were all part of one episode, which it was just like, because they're so like the bath and then this and then that and then we went into the town and I think we shot at Universal and like with all these different things. And you were like, what is like, that's a lot for one episode.
Yeah. Especially when you have 22 to play with. Like this felt like we were done with this in, this is episode 7. So we're done. We had a one-off there, Summer of 47, which you were not in. So they take care of this in like 6 episodes, and it does feel like a whole season storyline.
I wonder if there was some sort of like rush. I don't know. This would be like, maybe I'm really being self-centered here, but I'm like, was there some sort of rush to rush the skin storyline because I was like departing? Like I wonder if there was some sort of like, we got to wrap this up.
Well, I mean, I think it was a combination of things. It was also Ron Moore came on, who was like a sci-fi guy. Like he does sci-fi and he does it really well. He came on for the second season. I think for this very reason. I think after season 1, whatever, the powers that be were like, we want more sci-fi. So they bring in Ron Moore, and then they just came in and was like, we're going full on immediately instead of, and then because after this, we actually kind of it feels like we try to go back the other way with a little more relationship stuff after this.
Right. Yeah, it just was disjointed. I think it was a rush job of, okay, let's completely change the DNA of this thing and turn it into something that's more appropriate for the Sci-Fi Channel.
We want to get you guys to Comic-Con. Come on, we got to get this going. Really.
Yeah, it was
I think we were also always chasing Buffy too. Like
Exactly.
both in the ratings, and they went, well, if it works for Buffy, let's do that. Let's, they had the vampire.
Yeah, because Buffy was going like crazy.
So, but that's interesting that that's hilarious that you're sneaking on set.
I remember this so well too, because we were already on set, obviously. We were always on set. But I remember Shiri being like, let's go to the actual, like, walk towards the set and watch. Which was so...
Because it was like semi-closed set. I think they like made it... They made it down,
well,
they made it down to like
corner.
Must.
Because it was in that corner. You know how his apartment was... So we were on the other side. She's like, let's go, And we go and we're like looking and I was like, this is making me so ill.
I can't even imagine. I know. I was like, why does she want to do this? It would be...
Yeah, no, so not in my nature. But I appreciated that she made it into like a fun thing instead of like kind of like a don't go and like cry, like let's go look and like essentially make fun of him. And I was like, I want to vomit. And then walked away. And I remember, that's the thing, like Appleby and I we were just such like hijinks.
Yeah, when you guys got together, you were very mischievous together. Like you brought out that's what brought out Shiri's mischievousness, was like teaming up with you and then, doing things. But she
also has great, like, just mischievous instincts. She's very, she's like a little sprite. But yeah, thank God for Shiri.
You had mentioned the diary, which got us all into this.
Oh my God, Sarah, will you prepare yourself for this? Okay, so now you do have to keep in mind, I'm 19, okay? And what is it, the year 2000? I love how every time it's the year 2000. So this is it. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, so it says, it's so dorky. So just please. I love him, and I'm obviously talking about Brendan, and he loves me. And then he doesn't. Okay. Here's where it really... Says he wants to marry me, then says he doesn't. Do I want to marry him? I'm 19 years old. By the way, and I still live with my parents. So it's like, am I going to go from my parents' house to marrying? If it means being with him and taking care of him every day, then yes. But he seems to always be thinking about other options, almost like casting a wife. And I'm not what he had in mind.
Oh my God, it's so dramatic. I love it.
Essentially, I'm testing to be a wife.
Your screen test, yeah.
Like when you test for a role. I've gone to studio, but
I'm going to get cut
at network.
Still up in the air.
ABT, always be testing. How can you imagine, like, just at that age, like, would we have had like a Roswell wedding? Like, what insanity to me. Just.
We were, we definitely were close. We spent so much time together. And,
yeah.
But, it was you're getting on. Listen, Isabel got married when she was 19 on this show.
Oh, on the show.
I love that. That's why. Yeah. And also you were kind of like a getting married young guy. And I think I
always wanted to be married when I was 23. That was always, that was like the number I had in my head. Well, I wanted kids young, right? And so 23, when you're, I don't know, at that age, when you're 16, you feel like you're old as fuck, right? Like you feel like you have everything almost figured out.
And after you've had experiences, like you've like had shows and you've worked a lot in the industry, like I got pregnant at 24 and I remember thinking, I've like done it all. So, next chapter. And now I look back and I'm like, whoa, Sarah, you were a child.
I know. It's just, but at the time, you're like,
I've done everything.
You're as old as you've ever been, right? Like at the time, that's as old.
True.
So in that sense, that's kind of what you're thinking. So, it does. I don't know. We've been dating for 2 years, even though it's been on and off. It's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And that's that's a long relationship. That's at this point, that's 10% of your life.
Right.
Right? If you're 20 and you're dated for 2 years, is my math right? Is my math mathing? And then a lot of that life, for the first 6 years, you don't remember. So it's really just 14.
Speak for yourself.
Well, kindergarten is kind of my first.
Oh, okay.
Right?
And were you 6 in kindergarten? Jeez, we have a lot to unpack
I think so.
here.
5,
okay.
6.
How old are you in
5
kindergarten?
and 6.
5?
5.
5 and 6. So I don't know. It does kind of. I mean, it tracks in that sense. I don't think we were, obviously, it never happened, and I never asked you. We were never engaged, but I think we took each other and our relationships, even though it was up and down, seriously enough that it starts to become a question or something you consider.
Right.
Yeah,
it's just
early
weird
20s.
because my mother,
but
Sarah,
to take care of me. If I can take care of him, I'll marry him. It's like...
No, it's like to keep like taking care of you and like, getting to be with you. And it's like, oh my God. I remember though, Sarah, when I was like obviously a little bit older than that, probably 20, my mother was like, look, just promise me that you won't marry Brendan right away, that if he proposes, you'll stay with him for a year. And I was like, I'm not marrying Brendan. Like I was so like, that was the craziest concept ever. And like, why would she think that? And then it's like, meanwhile, this is what I'm writing in my journal a year before. The ups and the downs. I mean, who can keep up with it? But it's just
Do I love him?
to me.
Yes. Does he love me? Yes. Heart.
Heart. Does he sometimes not love me? Yes. I mean.
What a wild.
The profundity is just amazing.
It's so cute, though.
So overall, the episode itself, what are your thoughts looking back on the actual episode? 25 years later, like.
I mean, I watch it and I go, Sarah, why were you so like subdued the whole time? Like the whole time I'm like, yes, because this is gonna happen. And I'm like, geez, like lighten it up a little bit. Yeah, your people are taking over the world, but like.
Yeah.
Of course, you're like...
It was, that was cool back then.
But you are dying.
I was in a husk that was just entirely too young for my body. But, the bath, though. Can we...
Well, first of all, when you fall, Maria is smiling. I don't know if you saw that. She's like...
Oh, yeah, you like were...
She like laughs.
Very much. Like...
And then I'm holding you. And then we're now waterboarding you. Like, it's just the waves of how they felt like they wanted to take care of her, but then also kill her.
It's kind of like your journal. I love him. I want to take care of him, but
I'll kill him if he doesn't love me.
I'll kill her. Totally. I'll take care of him.
But Tess, though, did not let up
I know.
On. She just...
Yeah, I said earlier, it's like it was the opposite of waterboarding you. They tortured you, but by like draining you of like water.
Like, you.
What a bunch of absolute monsters. And I love how Katie closes a door because me and Jason are
gonna see me in a bra.
Yeah.
I know. It's like we know she's got a bra. What do we think is gonna happen? Like some foursome of these girls, like this weird porn is gonna break out. Like
I think teens. Yeah, I remember. I just don't remember Tess being that like hard on your character.
Yeah, I don't either.
I was very confused.
I don't either, but it was like unnecessary. It was a little rude.
I think it's also because it turns out she's the bad one. She would have done some crazy shit for what she needed to do.
You know what's weird about being in the room with
pot calling the kettle black?
What's weird about being in the room with with everybody is that I had originally auditioned for Isabel, in the beginning,
yeah.
And I think I read for it a few times. I didn't like test or anything, but like I had like a few callbacks.
Yeah, they went through extensive casting.
Yeah, it was like the room was filled. And then I also auditioned for Tess, and I definitely went back a few times for Tess too. And then I was like, when am I ever going to get a role?
So were you a WB girl, because like Jason was like a WB guy, because Jason did like
yeah, that's why I thought you had a holding deal, Sarah. I think that's
I just
why.
always got cast on
because
it.
Jason did Dawson's, right? And then Jason also did he was in Buffy.
Okay.
Yeah, but when she was going in for Isabel, it was not a WB show. So
just I mean, that was at the time when everyone auditioned for everything. That was like a good time to break in.
That's when they'd see us.
Right.
For
well,
things.
yeah, it was like, I feel like at 9/11 kind of time was like when things sort of changed and like star names started becoming the entry level. You know what I mean? Like things just shifted a little bit. So it was just a very different time.
They started doing TV.
Yeah.
Well, the teen phenomenon, all those teen movies of 10 Things I Hate About You, Varsity Blues, all those were happening. They were happening just before I got there, kind of just before Roswell started, I think. And then they were kind of tapering off while the show ended. And then I wanted to kind of jump on that bandwagon at the end of Roswell, but it had kind of passed over. And then you're like, oh, now what's in, what's the next big hot thing? But I didn't get to really participate in that, except on Roswell, in that teen phenomenon back then, because there really was like
but Roswell was part
proliferation of teen. Yes, at the end, but just not on the movie side, because back then it's still very much, it was like movie TV. Like there was a
and
tier.
then what's funny is they started to realize that these TV actors brought in a big audience. So they put them in movies, and then movie stars started to realize, oh, it's actually beneficial if I'm on a TV show.
Then I could just stay home and work every
do movies. And then there's that aspect too, like, oh, a job, great.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning of the end for us guys. That was really
been downhill ever since for 25 years.
It was great while it lasted.
I mean, it was pretty great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always thought that when I look back at that, I'm like, that's so interesting because I could have been any one of those characters. That's so weird. And then they're all being so mean to me. I didn't take your job. Jeez.
I know. Be nice to me. I could have taken your job, Isabel. Oh yeah, I was shocked with how mean Tess was. I was like, damn, and all in that like workout gear. Isn't that interesting? She was like, where was she going? Where'd she come from?
It was a
choice.
Like
a hot yoga. I don't know.
I will say that shirt was the shirt I was wearing. I did mention, I was just like, oh man, this was a massive mistake not to just take all his wardrobe. No, it was a good shirt. I was just like, they were just, they were all those vintage like button ups, like with the, they were just so good.
But Brendan, those were those that they like pulled from the Paramount lot, like from the wardrobe.
Yeah, they rented
like,
it.
It's hard to, hard to steal those.
That's true.
Although worth a try.
So then from this show, you go to Dead Last?
Yeah, that was, and it was the guys who did like Grosse Point Blank and High Fidelity and stuff. So it was cool.
It was so cool, Sarah. I don't know where you were, Brendan. Just off with, Tracy Dorsey.
I was trying to get The Forsaken 2 done because I thought it was going to be, thought it was going to make me a movie star.
Yeah, well.
You're also, you're also part of the B&T
the B&T universe.
Right.
I don't know why I'm uncomfortable saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Just a little sniff of you in this one. I know.
I love the sniff.
I know, just a little sniff. But there is a, without obviously giving it away, everything's a little meta kind of Roswell. We take these little fun things we do. And so where your character actually ends up potentially going and being a part of is like so fun, which, we can talk off screen, but this was so good. I mean, obviously you've been in our sphere in so many ways, and from B&T even to now, it's like we're always, we've been big fans, even though we made you feel maybe a little uncomfortable.
It made me stronger.
We do.
Even though both of us may have been.
Yeah. Exactly. But we do have fond memories both of that time and especially of you. So we wouldn't have been right to not have you on for one of these. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Sarah. This is our mecca. This has been what we've been trying to get a little bit more professional to lead up to this point to have you on.
Okay.
And I don't know if we achieved that.
Yeah, I was like, this is as far as we've gotten. So I don't know what to tell you.
We're like, this is the best we can do. Let's call her. We're ready as we're ever going to be.
I know. I came in and I was
thank you
like,
so much.
Did I sneak? Was I not supposed to come in?
No, not at all.
No,
exactly. That just goes to show.
I was like this. I'm like,
she's in the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, we can see you. Anyways, all right.
All right, I love it. Well, thank you so much.
Love you guys
so much.
All right, I'll talk to you
later.
We
love you too. Straight, you okay?
Oh boy, what? That's how you're coming in?
well, no, but you were
straight.
You were just sitting here, and I was coming in straight from Courtney's mouth, in terms of the vibe on set.
Oh, yeah. So good. Thank God. Because it would be all of this crazy shit.
Why are you thankful for that?
Because it's confirmation of what it was like, what...
Right. Do you hear that?
Yeah. Are you going to pretend like that's not you farting?
It's not. It's my, it's the water tank. It's the rubber thing inside the water tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just going to powder me forehead for a second. That fart. It was me. I'm sweating because I was pushing
just
a fart.
Meat sweats in a fart. Yeah, it was funny. I had never asked her about, we've been in touch, here and there, when she came on for when we were raising money for Baron and Toluca,
right?
When everyone came on, and then when we shot Baron and Toluca, we reached out to her, and then reaching out to her for this. There might have been one other, but I had never had a conversation about her actual experience, on the show and what it was. And you're right, it was. It was fun that she felt comfortable enough to be like, yeah, it was a little weird. You guys were.
Yeah, and to say it here, thank God, because I did have, Sarah was definitely around mutual friends. She worked with Alana afterwards, so through the Devon and up until basically 2 years into me dating David. So yeah, so I've had a lot of Sarah exposure.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just a tough thing to go on a podcast and be like, yeah, bro, the vibes were fucking crazy. And it's thank you.
Yeah, it was a real, she ultimately had a good time, obviously.
Yeah.
And,
That's the other thing too.
Oh.
That we have to sort of come clean about as well. And I don't know if I can speak for you about this, but we were kind of terrible as a group, I can say, at making guest stars feel...
Oh, 100%. I've said it from...
We weren't mean, but we were so in our thing with our lives and our plans and our little inside jokes that just feels no bueno.
Yeah, no, I learned... I've told this story before. I might have told it on this podcast too, but when I was doing the show, I was selfish doing my own thing. Obviously, me and you spent a lot of time together and dealing with whatever. If we were getting along, we wanted to do our own thing. If we were fighting, we didn't want anything to do with each other, and we went in kind of our own corners. But I remember when I was on CSI Miami, it was kind of my first guest star or recurring role that wasn't not a regular, but kind of a regular. And I was always nervous about those because I remembered how we treated guest stars. Not bad, but just kind of, we didn't we didn't make him feel welcome. We didn't go out of our way to be like, hey, you're a part of the show. You're a part of this scene. Like, let's collaborate. Let's talk. Like, you're an actor. I'm an actor. Let's do this thing. We just did our own fucking thing. And on CSI Miami, I remember this was when they delivered scripts to you. And I got the script delivered like by courier, paper script to my door the night before. And I read it and I memorized my lines, and I was on set, and we might have to bleep this out, but I almost don't fucking care. But Don Tardino.
Sorry, go ahead. Start over.
Don Tardino was one of the execs or whatever. I remember what he looked like. He came up to me and I was sitting in a chair and he goes, "How are you? Welcome." And I was like, "Good, thanks."
Startled.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, "Good." I was like, "Good, thanks." And I was the AV lab tech, audio-visual lab tech. I tracked down phone numbers and I don't know, whatever, used cameras from satellites to track down the bad guy and then, sent, everyone else on their way to go catch him. The very thing Tim wants to do when we talk to Tim of like, just put me in
the control room.
Yeah. And he goes, do you know who you're replacing? And I went, excuse me? He goes, the AV lab tech, the one before you. Do you know who you're replacing? I said, I got no clue. And he goes, well, just know you're as expendable as him. And I went, cool, great. Like basically going like, not welcoming at all, like threatening.
Right.
And what's funny, it did the opposite to me, where I was kind of nervous sitting there, waiting to go on the show, wanting to prove myself, new people, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And when he said that, I actually got I just went, oh, fuck you. And fuck it. Like, if that's the way you do it,
totally,
you're going to fire me for.
Did you get fired?
I mean, you don't need a reason at this point. You're looking to fire me. Right. Like, you're trying to find a reason. So I was just like, fuck it, I'll do what I want. Like, I'll give you whatever you want. And, I lasted 2.5 years and then, whatever, stole the credit card and was off. But it was just such a wild.
Wait, what? Your character?
Yeah, steals a credit card.
Jeez.
Yeah, no. But, okay, so that was, and I love the crew. I love the crew and I love the cast. The execs and everything, basically, they ruled by fear. Which wasn't very good, but I was in and out. Me and Emily got along really well, and obviously I knew Adam. But when I went on Bones, it was the first time I went on Bones, and I was a guest star, and I was like, fuck, I hate these guest star roles. Like, you just get treated like shit, and like no one cares. And they treated me like, again, another Emily, TJ was on there. Obviously, I knew David from before. They were so welcoming and they made it so easy, and they treated me like I was going to be on forever, even though I didn't know. And that's where I went, fuck, this is what I've been missing. This is what I didn't do for anyone and what needs to be done. And so then after that ended, when I got on night shift, I made it, whether I was good at it or not, I treated all the guest stars that came on there as good as I could to be like, we're equals coming into the scene. Doesn't matter if I'm going to be here tomorrow and you're going to be gone. Let's do this. And so that was like a massive lesson. Sorry, that was a long-winded way around of that.
No, but it's such a good point, because I think maybe because I'd been on a few other shows before, like the Tony Danza show.
Oh my.
It's okay. Just sit with that for a second. I did have that feeling all the time, like I was expendable on Roswell, on everything. I feel like that in real life. But like, it was very obvious to me. I mean, just Bewitched, where they switched the husband out. I mean, it was something that I just understood about our business. And I really did always have that feeling. And I remember when Emily came on, there was like a real fear amongst the girls of like, oh God, like who is this girl that they're, and especially I think when you're a girl, you are just in general a little bit more expendable. And especially at the time, I is it insecurity? Is it just kind of factual?
But I can see how there's something there besides your own brain that's you've lived and seen and experienced that suggests.
And it's the biz, it's but that there's a reason why this industry makes such insecure people. It's not just a big coincidence. It's because there's things like that. And so I think we were very aware of that. And I do think that is also an element of Sara and what she picked up as my reaction to her, but also kind of like a lot of people's, there was sort of a feeling of like, uh-oh, like we had just been put through Tess being written in this adorable little blonde with also a great rack. I remember it feeling a little bit more scary for the Liz character, where it's like, oh God, is this going to come in and take, and then now comes Courtney, and it's like, is this a threat to the Maria character? It's interesting. It's fascinating that we were adult enough to have the wherewithal to realize that could be an indication of that.
That's so funny, because like, not that I really thought of it. And we mentioned Alex in the Q&A, like dying and going on. It was more his decision as well, though. Like the writers letting him go to go do Orange County. Right. They would have kept him on forever. And I've said that I had no fear of being fired. They're quite fucking opposite. I challenged him to basically fire me. Didn't go like, see what that does to your fucking show. Which I don't know if I would have the balls to do on anything. But I didn't, like, you were not expendable. Liz was not, like, no one was expendable on that show. Like, I guess looking back, if the sheriff wanted, if Bill wanted to leave, I think it would be his choice, right? Like, he would have I would have thought, like, he's got the seniority, but I didn't think they would ever get rid of him.
Right.
If we wanted to leave, they would. I always thought, like, if I wanted to say at the end of season 2, like, I want to leave and go do movies, like, fire me, they'd be like, no fucking way, you're on for season 3. That's how I could have got a fucking raise, was by threatening to leave.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. I think it's just that thing of whenever you hear of these stories of someone being replaced, they are blindsided. Rarely do you sort of see it coming.
Right.
And I think that we did, especially Shiri and I would say, would tend to have more conversations about that sort of thing. I think we just didn't want to be fired. It's upsetting to be not wanted, even if you don't want to be there. But obviously, we very much wanted to be there. I think, though, that's what some of these guest stars were walking into as well, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, we definitely.
I think if a hot guy had been added as a reoccurring, sorry, Adam, but like that was you guys' age, that felt like that WB high school guy.
Well, I already thought, no, this is not, it's a little different, but I talked about this with Klain, the episode that we did with that, and Eddie,
exactly.
Freaking Eddie, how you all thought Eddie was cute. Like that got me a little insecure, not about necessarily being fired, but about, and not that I was the hottest guy, because you have fucking Jason and Nick,
yeah.
But
and Colin and Bill.
Well, yeah, Bill was. I mean,
and John Doe.
Underrated. Can we not?
What was the name? What was it? Come.
Lipscomb.
The one I couldn't say. Lipscomb. What a hottie. Go ahead.
But I mean, having hot guys, show up on set was already. I didn't think I was going to get fired. I didn't think they were going to replace me. But it does. You do pay attention to your looks more. Like there is a threatening thing there that. I was too even back then, as cocky as I've ever been, I had a little sense of it. And now and now maybe, I don't know, maybe for different reasons, but I just think if someone hires me and I'm doing the job I should be doing, I'm fucking safe and good.
Yeah,
I'm a much more enjoyable person to be around on set. I actually, I don't make people, I say good morning and have conversations with people and
it might just be in the fabric of being a girl. We get replaced for younger, hotter in our own marriages, traditionally. So it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. But then to come on too, like in Sarah's case, is uncomfortable as well, because it's like you're not a part of the main group. You got to earn your way in. There is already these cliques and romances and relationships, and
now it makes so much sense with the Forsaken of it all. That you already knew her. You were doing a movie with her while we were like on and off, because I didn't have any scenes with her. Security guy.
I met her.
Right, but meaning like that sort of, and she's really good friends with your roommate, your hot roommate with the great rag. That I can so see how all of that just like compounds, where it's not just, what it is.
Yeah.
It's so much.
It's so much for, our relationship back then, as solid as it was, is as tenuous as it was, right? Because it was like super solid. We were, whatever. There's a lot of firsts going on with that, and it was long lasting, and you were spending more time with you than anyone else at that stage. But it's also obviously very up and down and back and forth, and we hate each other. And so
I don't think then the takeaway was like, this is solid.
No. No, it wasn't. So
funny. It's so hilarious.
But it does. It makes.
I wish like there had been a behind the scenes, just someone getting footage of these antics. It's too good.
Well, that was fun. It was good. It was good to hear. It was good to hear that she was a little uncomfortable, because not that we want to make them.
I mean, I don't want to make her uncomfortable, but it is affirming. It's a good, like, you're not crazy. You were worked up. Wouldn't that be wild if she was like, what? I would feel so invisible.
I'd be like, were you paying attention?
Like, I was crying in a corner. You didn't see? Everyone's like, no.
But it's also great. This is the only reason we can say this is the other takeaway is obviously, we're still big fans of hers and hers of us. And like, it's easy, to get her on the phone and to, if you need, or have a chat, or to have her be a part of this or Baron and Toluca or whatever else. So it couldn't have been, it's more of a funny, awkward memory than anything traumatizing, which is why I think we can joke about it and have fun with it.
Yeah. It was also, everybody was so young.
And it's like, then how bad could it have been? Even though,
right.
I would like to be a better person and think I am now.
Right. It's not like anyone was like diabolical or like made crazy,
malicious,
things up
and like, backstabbing and, all that crazy stuff.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I think we've covered it all.
I think so.
I'm going to go now.
The X-Files with Majandra Delfino
and Brendan Fehr is a production of Portholes Inc. Media.
Edited and mixed by Stephen Wells.
Theme music by Fred Corey.